the first LK official. Guilty Gear Strive Season 3.0 tier list. Some notes to lead off. One, I think this version is less balanced than the previous version. It's not a bad thing, right? I know hearing that might make people go to Frown Town. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I wouldn't want the game to stay like this for a long time, but I don't think it's bad. They give us stuff, game is ham. They give us a patch, game is like fun and balanced. Then new season comes out, they're like, all right, here's a bunch of new stuff, and we're like, this is broken. And then they're like, all right, here's a patch, and we're like, oh, it's pretty good. So even if I feel like the game is less balanced right now, it doesn't mean it's not going to be changed. Power level is higher again, but it's not really because of moves, it's because of mechanics. So I definitely think it's easier to fix than before. And then now the scale that I'm thinking on is, normally it's like, like wins, good chance to win, then like bracket rooter, and then like niche or need help or something. I will also say it's not really in order. Usually I always think of like the top characters in order, but I almost always think of the characters in groups. So all right, this is the vibes. Okay, so I want to talk about groups. The last thing I'm gonna address from the chat before I start talking about all the characters is Zato that bad right now? No. There you go. Let me explain. So the groups are wins, good chance to win with effort, 2 normal or power crep. So this is my current problem with the game right now. My main problem with the game is that the Wild Assault is just not a good mechanic. No, I shouldn't say it like that. It's just not distributed in a good way. So in my opinion, I think red is the best, and red should be definitely nerfed. And blue and white can, even though white really pisses me off, blue and white can stay the same, but red needs to be nerfed. Red definitely needs to be nerfed. This is almost a Wild Assault tier list. To be honest, it almost is one. It's not quite one. Red Wild Assault powers up so many characters. Like, there's some characters who are good, and then they're just pushed by the power of their Wild Assault. So the way I look at it now is like, okay, you have the characters that win, that are in like the winning tier, they have a few things in common. Again, conversion ability, GOAT, good in generally all situations, but then they can also use Wild Assault in a really overwhelming way. So the Nago one, Nago of course has, he wins at round start, and then he has also an invincible move you have to worry about on top of that, along with his usual GOAT stuff, like he combos up everything, huge range, blah blah blah, right? Where like for like Chipp Ram Soul, it's just like they're especially Chipp, because Chipp actually did get nerfed, and I've been playing him, so Chipp did get nerfed, like his Rekka got nerfed, for example, right? But he literally can convert from anywhere into Wild Assault, into Wall Break, from anywhere, right? And then he is actually God. Like winning after that is so fucking hard. Like, or if you're playing Chipp, losing after that, smile. It's really hard. For the characters that are in good chance to win, the main difference between the winning characters and the good chance to win characters is mostly consistency stuff. So like what happens, and in my head it's what happens for the red Wild Assault characters here. So for like Kai, Gio, Sin, Leo, Mei, Ino, their conversion ability is way better with red Wild Assault. They all have like super good red Wild Assault confirms, but without red Wild Assault, there's usually, you can start talking about like, oh well, here they can't do this, here they can't do that, here this is not that bad. But when they have Wild Assault available, it's like all with punish leads towards death. Round start is fucking super threatening. Like another good thing about Wild Assault 2 is that it gives an additional cancel and a spot where traditionally we'd be like, oh, this is a bad cancel spot, so let's do XYZ. And of course red Wild Assault is the best out of those because you can't react to it because it's 15 frames. For wins with effort, the main thing about them is that they're powered up too, but they just don't get to access the new system stuff as often for whatever reason, right? So like Baiken, pretty good example. She has blue. It actually helps her combos, but she can't wall break from everywhere. Millia has blue. It helps her lock characters out of the game, but outside of that, like, doesn't help her that much. You have to hit them already, so it's like, while it is impactful, because if you hit them, there's some characters where, like, if they burst poorly or something, they literally can't play anymore. But you gotta hit them still, right? It's not like constant threat. Another one, a different lane would be like Goldlewis. So Goldlewis is like, he has White Wild Assault. White Wild Assault, very scary. His conversion ability is very high, but between like his nerf far slash and not being able to always, like, if he had red for some reason, by the way, like they would perceive some way to make him wall break from anywhere, which would up his threat because he already does a shit ton of damage. He already converts off everything, and then he would also wall break you off everything, and then he is scary as fuck with meter, but he doesn't have that. I mean, thankfully he doesn't have that, but that's just what I'm thinking with that group. And for the characters that are too normal or power crept, it's quite literally just that. Like, they still have shit that's good in scary situations, but the problem is all the other characters have way more scary shit all the time. Oh, I shouldn't say all the time. I'm being a little bit hyperbolic, but I mean, depending on what tier, but actually, depending on what tier you're talking about, it could be literally all the time. It's not all the time, but like, they just have access to stuff more often that's more threatening. Okay, so I'll go through one character at a time with on my thoughts. So we're gonna start with Potemkin. Okay, so Potemkin shows this in a really good way. Potemkin got a bunch of buffs this patch, a bunch of nice changes for him, like the 5p change, and the slide head change. So the slide head change, he has like 4 frames less recovery, so that means that it's just harder for people to go from the ground to, like, with punishing his slide head. That was like a big weakness of it before. I'm starting to think they don't really know what to do with Potemkin at this point. I also, I forgot to mention this, that I think for some characters they don't know what they want to do with them. I think Potemkin is one of them. This gonna be from a point of bias, 100%. He could be really toxic character if they make him too strong, but I don't think they have to go that way. I don't think they have to do that. I think they can make Potemkin a good character without making him like rage inducing, but I don't think the devs think that. But also, like, they would have to like toggle certain things, you know, like for example, like Gigantor would have to go away on hit. That's one thing. Like, they actually want to make him like, let's say like Jacko level, like they would have to change things, like making Gigantor go away on hit, so they give him better tools. They give him just outright better tools rather than giving him like meme strong tools. So the thing about Potemkin that has always been his issue, we talk about like 2-step characters, like, oh, like Testament is you have to set something and then you stain them and then Testament is strong, right? So on Potemkin's side, he has this to an extreme because he is literally a different character when he has 50 meter compared to when he doesn't have meter. When he doesn't have meter, he's very vulnerable, super whip punishable, very risky to use armor moves, not slide head now, but very risky to use like hammerfall and shit. But when he gets 50 meter, now all of a sudden he can just do Megafist when he wants, he can do hammerfall, PRC, he has Gigantor at his disposal, he has a lot of things at his disposal. And this thing, I think, is probably the number one thing that holds him back as a character, and gets him like really power crept. And in this version, they changed Gold Burst. The Gold Burst change doesn't favor him. So it helped. Some characters, they don't mind, like they're like, okay, sick. Some characters are like F. So the old Gold Burst, if he Gold Bursted you, he would get 100 meter right away. And now he's Potemkin with 100 meter. That's sick. The current Gold Burst is you get positive, so he gets an 8 defense and damage boost, which high key he doesn't need because he does mad damage already, and he has the most HP. Or yeah, I think he's like top 3 HP in the game. And then you get the passive meter bonus. The passive meter bonus is all well and good, but Potemkin just sent you full screen, and he's a character that wants you to be next to him. So if he didn't already have close to enough resource, like, he can get that resource fast. He just can't act off it right away. So despite him getting changed favorably, because I think he's stronger than last patch for sure, the problem is all the other characters. I'm gonna be repeating this a lot because I think this about a lot of characters. The problem is other characters got powered up too. So I just think he just is not keeping up with that. Bedman, kind of similar thing. I know that they have like way better guard crush structures. They can loop guard crush and all this stuff. But again, it's a pattern of the other characters benefit from these things more than Bedman. I also think they're scared of buffing Bedman a lot too. Also, like because of what Bedman does when he's winning, which is looping guard crush shit on you. I have to watch more. He's probably the character that at this moment I have the least experience against is Bedman. My thought was they do two things. They guard crush loop you to death and do a bunch of damage and chip. I know he has 50-15s, but some people are like, this fake, it's not fake. Regardless, like, even though he's got like some good changes with conversion ability and like better buttons and things like that, I think the same as Potemkin. Like, he doesn't keep up. He doesn't keep up with the general game. He's just good at he's really good at the thing that he wants to do. Testament also is punished by this. So last patch, I thought Testament was like the definitive middle character. While they gave Testament good stuff again, the thing is, Testament's match flow is like put Succubus on the screen, stain you somehow, pull up, I'm scary now, right? So even though Testament has a red Wild Assault and the red Wild Assault helps, their match flow is the same, right? Where other characters' match flow, some characters' match flows right now are much faster. It was already faster and now they're much faster. I'll be talking about it more when I get to them. So again, I think they gave Testament some good stuff. I don't know. That's another, like, I don't know how far they're willing to like go for that character, because some characters, it just looked like they're scared of buffing a bunch, which, I mean, I don't make the game, so I don't know. Johnny's the newest character. Normally, I probably would not talk about the newest character. However, a shit ton of people play Johnny. It's really easy to find matches against Johnny compared to like when Bedman came out, or like when Asuka came out. You couldn't like talk about Asuka for like a month or two. Where Johnny is like, so he has red Wild Assault, huge, right? He has a really good match flow and good conversion ability. It's the fucking neutral. For whatever reason, this is super random that we have fucking Leo Whitefang and Giovanna, and then they're like, Johnny can't dash block. Salty LK in my soul goes, fuck him. He pick Exert if you want to play Johnny, but also extra salty LK to even smaller gremlin. Why not make Leo not be able to dash block? Like, if you're gonna add a new character that has a step dash and they can't dash block, why not just nerf Leo's dash block too? And they haven't. So right now, I think they're gonna give him the dash block though. He really needs that. I think he is immediately like with Geo, Kai, Sin, like that group. Like that's like the biggest thing. Because even though he has lunge moves, you know, he's got like 6k. His 6k looks like it goes further than Exert. It looks like really big. He's got like all these like stalling moves that he has. He has good space control. He's got like far/2s. He would quite literally be a different character with dash block. I don't know what they're gonna do about it, and it's something he's had. You know, he before he was able to like jump out of his dash and block out of his dash with FD. He had like a wave dash in like Exert and XX that he can do, where you like dash FD over and over, and he moves like really fast. I'm not surprised that he doesn't have that, but I'm pretty surprised they didn't even let him. That's huge. Now, on the other hand, though, you can say that in like other Arxis games, like BlazBlue, Valkenheim can't dash block, right? But that nigga can turn into a werewolf, bro. Gotcha, bitch. He turn you into a werewolf and fucking fly. It's a werewolf that could fly. Jonathan Sfondi does not have that dog in him. He needs to dash block. He needs a dash block. If he gets that shit, he's immediately way better. I quite frankly, I think that's all he needs. And then Zato. So Zato is it's gonna take me a little bit. So he has two problems that make him not good chance to win, because I basically think he is strong on paper. What are the problems? So one is what they did to nerf him is the flight, and Eddie coming back slower and Break the Law. These are like 3 really big changes. He has other nerfs besides that, but these are the 3 main big nerf changes. But then there's also the system works against him too. Okay, so let's start with the actual things. Flight is, I think, the least impactful nerf out of the 3 that they complain about a lot. People still basically use it the same. You just can't stall as long, so we can just move past that one. I know there's gonna be a Zato player like just fucking like hearing that and going like, oh brother. Yeah, but I think it's the least impactful one. Then we gotta talk about BTL. BTL is a pretty big deal. So I don't know if it's like a shadow nerf, because I don't remember if it was in the patch notes or not. But when they changed the burst is a full screen burst. Zato goes underground, right? For Break the Law, the burst reaches there. So this greatly weakens Zato's anti-burst game. So Zato has a bunch of like legacy like flaws, like, you know, low guts. He has the 4th lowest HP in the game. Like, he has a bunch of like system flaws, and like when he pins you down, he's really supposed to pin you down, right? He's really supposed to be like And he had a unique advantage in this game where many characters like 2S is not like burst safe. Like many characters like 2S and sweeps and stuff, they're not burst safe. But Zato had the threat of baiting your burst there. He had the threat of baiting your burst. If he baits your burst, he basically wins the game. So he had like 50-50s, you can say, in his combos. There was a lot of burst safe stuff. He maintains many of them, but just by losing BTL, he loses a big chunk of them. So he has like guaranteed burst points. This leads us to the biggest change, which is the Eddie death. Eddie, when he dies, it's double the time. It's 7 seconds instead of 3.5 seconds. So my actual thought is they did this because they thought with Blue Wild Assault, he would just get Eddie back for free and it'll be too easy. Blue Wild Assault is like, it's 20. It causes a guard break, guard crush, right? And he just gets to do pressure again. So I feel like the thought is between having the command grab that gives Eddie back and then like Eddie coming back faster, that Eddie dying would extra not mean anything. It already kinda, they might get mad at me. They might be like, oh brother. But at 3.5 seconds was really short. But these three things really play against him. Him not getting 100 meter right away also plays against him, but he's pretty good in positive though. He's pretty good in positive. So the problem is now that his weaknesses are far more accented, and they gave him other nerfs on top of what I listed. So there's things like his jab, they nerfed a few things about him. And then they gave him something that no one uses. And then the characters that beat him are better. So it's the combination of everything. So if you didn't feel strong against Zato before, you are probably playing against him now being like, he's the same, they're complaining. But if you're somebody who's like good against Zato, you're like, man, I'm kind of eating. Like, I get comboed, I can just get out. Like, I can like run him into the corner. Like, they really have to work a lot harder in this version. How you feel about that is up to you. I'm always mixed bag. Like, when I'm playing against Zato in a tower, I'm kind of like, you know what, dude? Fuck this guy. He just does this.
This dude did a 10-hit combo.
That's how I feel when I'm blocking his shit, right? But then, you know, my colleague plays Zato, so I'm like, and Zato has some nice, you know, it's nice that we had Zato to gatekeep Nago and Leo, you know, and he doesn't even beat Leo, and they still gatekeep Leo. So he's a really complex character of how I feel about him. I'm not like super mad, but I'm also like F. Because him being weaker means other characters that I don't like get to fucking run around more. Now we go to wins with effort. So these characters are all good, and they all use the system in beneficial ways. They generally either don't have as many opportunities to use the system in their favor, or when they use the system in that way, it doesn't give them, it like makes up for something that they lost. So Anji is my example of that, right? So Anji has the fusion nerf. I know a bunch of people hate that they nerf fusion. If you don't know what the actual nerf is, it's that all Rekka moves, all like moves with follow-ups in this game have been nerfed so that they don't have medium counter hit state. There's 4 counter hit states. There's large, where the game's like whoa, right? Then there's medium, where there's significant slowdown, but not a shit ton. There is small, which is not noticeable, and it only adds a couple of extra frames, but it does let you do things you can't normally do. And then there's very small, which the game just tells you got counter hit, and that's it, right? So basically all of them in the game, there are exceptions, but all of them in the game as a general rule have been nerfed to very small counter hits. So he got that nerf, but on the other hand, he has red wild assault, so his conversion ability is better. And he's one of the characters that have an actual new move. So he has a follow-up to spin. It really feels like they want him to be a high commit spinny boy, and they don't want him to be like a stable character. They want you to just fucking guess all the time. So I'm sorry, it's season 3 now. by now I'm like, yeah, that's really how they want him to play. And for him, I feel like he just got like a trade offer, because when I play him, I feel like I'm playing a slightly better version of last patch, because I'm not dying for getting counter hit by fusion, so I'm challenging fusion more. But then he has opportunities to hit me with red wild assault, so that's where that damage is coming from. And my burst is getting taken from that, and he's spinning more. That's what it feels like. I just feel like they want him to be just like a committal character, just gambling in neutral. He's got all the HP in the world because he got 5 guts and shit, and that's just what they want him to be. And like, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it now. People are really all over the place over Faust. I definitely think he's better than last patch right now. I think his wild assault is kind of similar to Baiken's for me, in that like one major thing it does is it helps with like a really annoying bad cancel point, which would be 2H. 2H usually is like you're fucked on block, but now he has like item eat there, he has blue wild assault there. So it's gonna be a recurring theme here of like the character gets to do the stuff they want to do. Item eat makes him safer. Blue wild assault cancel makes him safer. He wants to do this, but he just doesn't get as many opportunities to meme as characters above him. But he's like more stable. I want to say this is like the most stable version of Faust we've had so far. Goldlewis also. So when I fight Goldlewis, I basically feel like I'm fighting the same character as last patch, except I'm stronger against it, which is the main bad thing. That's why I'm like down on him slightly. I feel stronger, and it's not just like, okay, I practiced the matchup a bunch recently, but it's like, oh, my character can do all this extra shit now. But the main new thing Goldlewis could do is like he has white wild assault. Like that's it. Like the nerf they complain about is Force Slash. Totally understandable. I have mixed feelings about it. The reason why I feel for them on it, because at the beginning I was like, whatever, hold that, but the extra recovery is the big thing. In case you don't know why they're all crying about it, because like it advances and stuff. It's like supposedly the hitbox is smaller and then it has more recovery. For matchup, at least like Baiken Goldlewis, the more recovery thing is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. And he doesn't really get anything for it besides White Wild, which is good, which is definitely good. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely good. But it doesn't feed into what he's doing already, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So the Far Slash thing definitely affects him, and then other characters are doing their thing more often to him while he's doing the same old thing. Whether or not that's a good thing, it depends on who you're talking to. Little LK bias coming in, watch out. I hate it when Goldlewis is super good. In my head, I'm like, this is fine, you know? Like, maybe if he's a little better, it's okay, but like, I mean, that shit was only a year ago. Drone that stays on hit, it was only 1 year ago. So that shit is fresh. I still complain about characters from like 6 years ago. So that shit is fresh. Jokes aside, they didn't really give him anything except White Wild Assault. And like I said, I think blue and white are like the fair ones. Like I think they basically don't need to be changed, even though White Wild Assault is very annoying to fight against. I don't think they need to be changed. I think it's red that needs to be changed. Axl is pretty fucking annoying this patch if you don't play a fast character. The 2P change is a huge pain in the ass, and he has red wild assault on top of that, so his conversion ability is better. Plus, I want to say, I'm probably saying this one wrong, I want to say they gave him new roots on top of that, but that I have to double check. That I have to double check. I mostly played against Axl a lot at the beginning of the patch, not like the past couple weeks. So he is more like Anji, so I feel like they really just want him to be like pokes into, I'm not gonna say nothing because it's not nothing, But it's like poke, 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 slow game, slow game, slow game, and then you catch him on the one big hit and you cash out with Wild Assault type character. And the other characters could just threaten him from like he has his normal bad matchups, like Ram is still there, Chipp is still there, Millia is still there, for example. So you have your fast character problem. You have people locking you out the same. I still think right now I think he's the middle. By the way, right now I think Axl is the middle of the line. Like, you must be this tall to ride, like Axl. Pause phrasing. I feel like he's the gatekeeper character this patch. Like, after this character, I'm gonna start talking about like extremes, because I just don't think he has anything like extremely cheap. You know what I mean? It's just that he whiffs shit. He has less recovery on 2P. He has red Wild Assault, so his conversion ability is better. But his conversion ability was already getting better anyway. Bridget. In Bridget's case, my thing with her is I literally don't think she plays. I feel like I'm playing Season 2 Bridget with just blue Wild Assault. Like, that's it. I know she had got a couple of nerfs. She got like the scooter nerf. Basically, my thing about her is she is not different. She is not different. She's not stronger. She's like the same. And the Wild Assault helps her with pressure, yes, but she's already doing that in pressure with Wild Assault anyway, so I don't think it's that big of an impact, especially if you have a character that has counterplay against uncharged Wild Assault into yo-yo toss into 2k. So I feel like she's just the same, where other characters are just better, but still Bridget. So, you know, she's 50-50ing you. She's got the annoying neutral. She's got the annoying defense. Like, she's got all that shit. Millia is the first character that I think is actually significantly improved, but asterisks. Okay. That asterisk being that it's a system thing. One, it's about Wild Assault. And two, it's a win more. So what do I mean? With blue Wild Assault, because of blue Wild Assault, one of her problems in this game, from a Millia player's perspective, right, is that she can't loop her good knockdowns. Okay? So if you want to use Exert as an example, you do throw dash H disc. That's a great knockdown. You get a late disc mix up, so you get two 50-50s. You get to do meaty, bad moon, or low. If you hit that, you knock them down again. From that knockdown, you can pick. You could, if they don't have pin, you could do Secret Garden. If you have 50 meter, you could do roses. Especially if they have burst, you could do roses as an option. You could just do a disc. You do an immediate disc. You could do a late disc. You have all the choices where you hit them, right? In this game, because of like how the combos work, if you do an air combo, then you can't get a hard knockdown besides certain situations. You have to do a soft knockdown, which greatly limits how she follows up offense. Right, so it's been hard to like route towards this, and she has her usual things of her legacy weaknesses, plus like everything from low defense, worse risk gauge, smaller throw, to like she doesn't have good pressure because she doesn't normally have like good pressure, not as good as like actual pressure characters. So with blue Wild Assault, They've been like turning up how she's done mix-ups each patch. With blue Wild Assault, she now has the option from round start, if you want, if the situation presents itself, that you can get a good disc knockdown, like a 2k2d knockdown, into another good disc knockdown, if you want. There's different ways. People talk about different ways of routing what you should do when you hit people, but I think it's a big deal. She was always really good in positive, and now you have way more opportunities to get positive. Since season 1, I thought she was broken in positive. The problem was you couldn't act on it. It was so hard to like actually use it. But now you get to actually use it. And then if a character doesn't have a meterless reversal, you have the potential just like lock them out of a round. So you have a lot of control once you get started. This version. So even though she got like small changes to herself, it's the system really, really, really helped her out. I do think it's a win more, but it's basically the most meaningful win more since she got the Turbofall crossover change, which I thought was a very good change from her. From here on out, I don't know how far they are willing to go with her, because I could definitely think of a couple of things she could use, but I don't know if the devs have enough courage, smile, to give her these things. Things like an actual 50-50 off throw would be great. That doesn't cost me risking my life, or slightly safer pressure. You know, maybe she doesn't need that. I don't know. But I actually think this version is a really good version of her. It's definitely her best version right now. And if there's anything that's keeping her down with her, it's matchups. It's not like her shit. Now it's just straight matchups. The lucky thing is, and I think this applies to a couple of characters this patch, is most people don't actually know how to fight Millia. Zato players are spitting when they talk about Zato. We talk about this on stream all the time. How Zato players, like, people don't know the matchup against Zato, and that's why we win. They're spitting, and I think that about Millia right now. Like, there are people that I know they never actually learned how to fight Millia, but they did so much. They could just meme her without having to learn the matchup. But now you have to actually know how to fight her, which is like smiles. She could be powered up a little bit more, but like it's impactful. So then Baiken is next. I know I was surprised here. A lot of people are dooming about this character or saying that she's weak. I overall think she is slightly stronger than last patch. However, other characters got stronger too. I think that's the main thing. I think some people are like she's weaker, but I felt like if you rely on certain tactics from last patch a lot, that, you know, like Raw Yozansen is a perfect example, right? There are people who are like, I can't mix people anymore, and I would watch them play, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're sending it on Raw Yozansen or low with no meter, so that's why you're feeling like weaker. But like her damage is up, her pressure is better, she gets more mix-up opportunities, she's broken as fuck and positive, she kills really, really, really early, and she's really, really, really punishing. But she still has her same flaws, like her same like conversion ability flaws and stuff, and like how much shit you need to know about the game to actually like win with her. That's not a flaw, that's just something you need to know. That's different. Her main flaw is conversion ability, by the way. It's not, you have to know a lot about the game, that's fine. I feel like she's a better character. And my main thing is that these next group of characters, because I think it's like 12 characters up here. It's 13, right? Yeah, 13. These next half of characters, these upper half of characters, they're just juiced. They're just really, really juiced right now. Moving to like Ino, right? The majority of the red Wild Assault characters are in good chance to win or win. So if you take Ino, for example, Ino got a really good new move. So it's called Mad Love Agitato. I think MLA, we'll call it MLA. Okay, it does a few things for her at the same time. It covers an angle that she usually can't attack from quickly, and you basically can't react to it. It has guard crush, and it's good for combos, right? But then she also has red Wild Assault on top of that. So what happens now is her conversion ability is way, 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 way better than before. And the other problem, one that people usually complain about, but Ino's always like this, because if she was not like this, she'd be pretty broken, is that her mix-up is pretty interactable. So there's a bunch of characters, like Leo's another one, if you want a quick example. Low-key, Bridget is one, but I don't know if people are ready to hear that, where their mix-up is interactable. Like, you can do shit to fight back and, like, get hits on their mix-ups, but you have to take a risk to do it. But Ino is, like, the main direct one. That's like the huge direct one. Like from the beginning, people are like, yeah, you gotta mash on Ino, you gotta do this on Ino. So she still has that, but her threat for hitting you is just way higher. Like way higher. She could do like corner to corner. I played Don the other day, and he was doing like corner to corner red Wild Assault hits on me, and I was like, dude I really cannot mess up against her. And of course, she's always been good and positive, so she has that going for her too. The Gold Burst thing hurts her a little bit, like a pinch, but not that much. Jacko doesn't have red Wild Assault. She has the blue Wild Assault. I think hers is definitely better than Bridget. It's comparable with like Baiken's. They get a free minion basically, and she still has like super good neutral, super good 2K, like all the good neutral shit we're used to, all the good pressure stuff we're used to. The main complaint that I've heard, because you may see in tournaments, like, Nitro said he dropped Jacko, but he's lying. Let's keep it real. He's fucking lying. But Ed hard switch. Okay? And it's because of the 5K combo change. Like, the 5K is like a nerf to combos. I will not speak on her combos. I don't play her. But I understand if they don't like that. But I think she's pretty much intact and like strong, and blue works really well for her. It would be really random for her to have white, Red would probably help her, but red helps everybody. But blue lets her do the thing that like you pick Jacko to do, which is like do shit with minions. So I think it's all good. It's mostly that, again, I just think characters like in wins just are more impactful and fast. Mei, I know they were very sad about 6H, understandable. That change was definitely because of red Wild Assault. When she has burst available, her conversion ability for like you have to worry about Mei with punishing you actually this time, where normally your main concern is like her hitting you. Now you have to worry about her with punishing you. However, she is slightly weak. So her main weakness, by the way, this patch I want to say is her new special move doesn't do that much, right? It does the least. I think it's the worst new special move. There's a lot of counterplay to it. It does let her do some like new stuff and gives her like opens her up a little bit, but I think it's the weakest new special move. And then S Dolphin maintains the -3 frame data, but she bounces way closer to you now. So if you were a character that was not good at S Dolphin RPS before, you're probably way better now. I was lucky and Baiken was good at it before, and she's good at it now, so smile. But if you struggled with that for some reason, it should be a lot easier to handle. I also usually feel like one of the reasons, like when Mei players feel strong when they feel like she can't be punished. If you notice, right? It's not the first time that Mei was top tier. Mei was top tier when the game came out. Mei was top tier last patch. The main thing those two versions of Mei had in common was that she was just really hard to punish. It was just really hard to like stop her from doing stuff. When she has to expose herself to risks a lot, that's when they're usually like, oh, boohoo, woe is me, right? So that comes up a lot because of the current S Dolphin. But her damage threat is as good as it was. Plus, you're going the positive from this, and this is a character that already does a shit ton of damage and has 4 guts. So she could really snowball you. Really snowball you. I think the 6H change is less impactful than the S Dolphin change. S Dolphin is the biggest. Then there's Leo. This is the first time I do not have Leo as S2. For the first time ever. We do not have, I mean, I don't have letters, but I don't have Leo as like top tier, wins all the shit, GOAT of the game. And in his case, it's just that other characters got better. They gave him back an old knockdown he used to have. Like I know he has like more advantage on turbulence, right? He has red Wild Assault, which is great for him. HTP got nerfed so that you can't set up back turn from defense. Yeah, this is that one. That's the big one. So they're sad about that. You can hold that. Sorry, you can hold that. It's not a big deal for people playing Getsim. Smile. But his conversion ability is better. He's got red Wild Assault, of course. His defense is still goated, even if he's not setting up a win con off defense. I think it's fine. And then there's the subtle thing, because we're starting to get to these characters. I didn't really mention this in Goldlewis better pot, but Leo was heavy, but he's also not big. So some character, his defense was better in that like he would not be exposed to certain things, or some things would be arbitrarily more difficult on him just because he's heavy. But now that he's not, you could just do the same stuff to him that you always could. So if you want a Baiken example, there was a certain spacing that wasn't max 2H spacing, that if you did 2H H Kabaddi and a 2H hit raw, your H Kabaddi would hit, and that doesn't happen anymore. It happens on everybody at absolute max range, but on heavies, it would happen from not max range, and that was extremely tilting, but it's extra tilting on Nago and Leo. Like, on Potemkin less so, on Bedman less so, on Leo and Nago, you're just like, dude, right? So now people don't have that problem. Besides that, I think he's mostly intact as a character. Like, he does all the same stuff. And again, like, his conversion ability is better with Red Wild, so he's chilling. Then Sin. So Sin is a combination of system and character. So they gave him the changes that people were like, they're going to change these things over time. Like things like Far Slash. And he used to not have any attack level 4 moves. Now he does. L-Cut is faster. So they gave him that stuff. And in that context, like let's say system mechanics aside, he'd already be a lot better. but then he also has Red Wild Assault, so his conversion ability is out of control on top of that. So not only is he good at playing mid-range and doing all these things on you, but he also has Red Wild, which means you have to worry about he whip punishes you into you immediately die, or he hits you a round start into you immediately die. That combination makes him very, very, very strong. I want to say, I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but I want to say, like, I basically think there's a clear top 10 and these characters are not really in order. Like this, like especially like Asuka, Gio, Kai, Sin, you can look at them all as 6th. That's how I look at them. I feel like they're all the same strength, they're all the same power level, kind of. Just so I know, I'm kind of working on, you know, we need more time to like play and like learn more, but that's kind of how I feel. Kai similarly, so his far slash got buffed. I know some people were sad about 2S, but the far slash thing is really big. The fireball thing, nobody has told me how, like, okay, someone told me it's a nice thing to have. His fireball changes are like a nice thing to have, but right now it's far slash, Red Wild Assault. Truly, he got nerfs. Like 2S got nerfed, Stun Dipper got nerfed, but far slash, Wild Assault is crazy. Like his conversion ability is crazy right now. Like he's a whip on it. He's like a neutral machine right now. So he still has like the same, like, you know, his typical strike throw offense is like he's slightly disadvantaged from a distance, or he puts shock state on you, and especially with plus he still has that stuff. Characters that can fight back against that will, you know, you're gonna feel like a nice back and forth, but like his neutral is so juiced right now, so juiced right now. I don't think he feels weak in like any situation really. Sometimes people talk about like, oh, he has like a character has tools in all situations, and people think that's like a cop out. It's not a cop out, dude. Like he really does. He has good defense, right? Because he's got buttons to bash, he's got a DP, he's got a low profile, he's got good mid-range buttons, he's a go anti-air, he can stall in the air, he's annoying to anti-air, he sets up easy safe pressure, he does mad damage normally, and then now also he can whip punish you into mad damage. Like right now he's a machine right now. He's really good right now. Geo similarly too. So Geo, they nerfed 214K, which is sad. But they gave her a new special move, which is good. I don't think it's the best new special move, but it's a really, really good special move. She still has insane combo conversion ability, which she always had. And then she has Red Wild on top of that. So she is already good at whip punishing. Now she whip punishes you harder. Okay. If you don't have a reversal, then you are fucked on knockdown, and it's still Geo. It's still the good ass safe pressure. You can make arguments that her mix is not as good because she doesn't get hard knockdowns off everything all the time. And another thing you did, by the way, is I think the like Guard Crush Spiral Arrow gives, this is gonna sound mean, by the way, but it gives lower level players a more obvious win con, because I really think people, I feel like constantly we get an argument about like Geo shit being good, and like you have to explain to people like, oh yeah, like the super good shit is you set this up this way and you stand here and then the opponent can't do anything, because they're all like, oh, all you do is FD and max XP and Geo can't win, she sucks. We give her a command grab. So by her having this, like lower level players have something that's clear and strong to aim for. If that sounds mean, I'm sorry, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. I personally think it was better for her to have the knockdown because she fucking mixes, but, you know, trade off her. Now we're on Asuka. Okay, so Asuka is a very polarizing character. I actually have grown to really dislike this character. I really want them to stop adding characters like this. But I mean, I guess he's like the boss of story mode, so he's supposed to be really good or whatever. So his thing is, his goal is to win from neutral. He has test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. Each test case has a different goal. The main ones that people go for is they go for test case 3, because test case 3 has a lot of like the crazy spells. Like a lot of the Twitter clips you see of like the screen being flooded by cubes and shit that's all test case 3, and he's able to access it really, really quickly. And basically the thing that has him up is that many characters struggle against even letting him getting into it, So like, since he gets it so fast, he just has to make you block like once. He could switch into it. They switch into it really, really fast. So it's hard to stop him from doing that. And then once you get in that situation, not a lot of characters can fight back. You're a spectator a lot against this character, especially if you don't know how to fight him. I do think he has bad matchups though. And the main consideration of what he struggles with outside of like some button interactions tends to come from how easily characters can clear cubes. So for example, like Ino trivially kills cubes, Nago trivially kills cubes. It's another like character that can attack safely from a really long range and set up things at their own pace, which that's like proven strong in this game. Proven strong in this game. We've seen it from HC, we've seen it from Nago, we've seen it from Bridget. That's like a proven, we've seen it from Jacko. It's like a proven good strategy. You're far away, people can't get to you, you set up the things when you want, you go in when you want. That's always going to be good in the game. He has a blue Wild Assault. It doesn't have like a ton of use for him. I don't see them use it a ton compared to like other blue Wild Assault characters. Like Faust, you see them use it literally in block strings. Baiken, you see them use it in block strings. You see them use it to confirm. Millia, you see it on knockdowns. Like you don't see his that much in comparison, but he already has like, there's no good way to say it. He's just like super good. He's just super good. He just stands far away and does core circles and you lose. And like so much of like both how successful he is and what you can do to fight back is like based off RNG, but his test case 1 is full of like solid, reliable cards, so it's pretty unlikely that he would have even a bad hand to start. So, and he's super good at converting already. Then the goats. You'll notice there are some characters that are still here, that are always here. Smile. There's a returner though. One guy's back. Soul's back. Soul's top tier again. Very good character this patch. It's gonna sound like Kai, but has something for every situation, and then he has red Wild Assault too. So he's got consistent conversion ability. He can poke from many ranges very well. He has mad damage as usual. His buffs are impactful, so he's got a 5-frame 2k, so his defense is better and his offense is better from it. He gets more reward for hitting backdash with far slash. Soul players have been good at hitting backdash with far slash since the game came out. He just didn't like get anything from it, so they're like, hey, what if you got something from it? And they're like, sick. And then he also has red Wild Assault on top of that, so he's got like the super bombos into locking you out of the game. Which also makes his offense better and his defense better. So he is already good in every phase of the game, but now he has a way to be better in every situation. Then Chipp actually took some nerfs. So the main one being the 236, the Rekka nerf. However, he has red Wild Assault, so now he breaks from anywhere. And for a character who one of his main issues is HP, like he has low HP and he does no damage, now you can break the wall from anywhere off 2k, and you get a 10% damage boost and a 10% defense boost. And he has a he's one of the original like infinite block string characters in positive, so you have access to that. He took a couple of other L's, so one would be like 6k for example, but you have 5D in positive, so who gives a fuck, honestly. I want to say that's the main two that I hear people complain about. He got some 6k is like buff and nerf, but overall I would say it's a nerf. Like that shit being 20 frames is crazy, but just having this type of character with god neutral god buttons be able to get the amount of return he gets from red Wild Assault is out of control. Actually out of control. And then you have Ram, who also has red Wild Assault. She's slower, so if she is running for, I don't know what the exact distance is, but if she runs for a certain distance, she is actually slower. But if you like, her initial dash is like the same. Again, she has red Wild Assault. She has a new special move. Her new special move is really good and complements her toolkit really well. So what they did to her is they basically got rid of her main weakness, where her main weakness being that mid-screen, she had situations where she had weak cancel options or she may not be able to convert. They were like, what if we let her do this? And now she's fucking juiced. That shit's crazy. HC's comes from a combination of two things. So one is they change how his focus meter works, and the other is Wild Assault existing, right? So he has a match flow now where he can break, because he breaks the wall of everything, so he doesn't need red Wild Assault. He breaks the wall, breaks a blue Wild Assault, and then backs off and just shoots you while building a meter and burst, and then he can either mix you up using Wild Assault, or he'll just pull up and 50-50 you, or he'll just build meter like until he feels like he has enough, and then he'll do stuff with the meter. He is extremely powerful and positive, and unlike a lot of the characters I talked about, like Chipp for example, he doesn't need to use his burst to do it, because he just combos and breaks the wall off everything. So that shit is really, really strong. And then you have Nago, the Eternal, another Eternal. White Wild Assault, while being good for the other heavy characters, really, really, really impacts him because he's so goated at round start. He's so goated at round start, and now you have to worry about him having an invincible option that he can win the game off of. Bite is even more GG's than before. He still has the goated conversion ability on top of that too. So even though he took a couple small nerfs, like he has like the 5k nerf for example, like he doesn't have as good of a hitbox as before, and 6H is not special cancelable. It causes a -2 guard crush. So what the 6H does is that he can replicate round start basically in the corner, right? Which is crazy. And you know, it's guard crush, so if you have meter, you could like BRC off it. I've seen a couple people do that. I think it's pretty good. So what happens now is his round start is overall stronger. If he bites you, you extra lose. You hyper lose. If he bites you, his guess for game comes kind of early. It's pretty scary because he's got the high-low of DP now, and he still converts off everything. Yay! Yay!
Congratulations!
Okay, we went through it all. Any questions? Basically, I think the game is less balanced than before, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I basically think the game will be in a much better place if they nerf Red Wild Assault.